bringing you the news and information you need from the people making a difference. This is Comcast Newsmakers.
Hello, thanks for joining us. I'm Paul Lisnek, and this is Comcast Newsmakers. This hour's newsmaker is Scott Seaman. He's co-author of the book, Battling and Beating Cancer, the Cancer Survival Book. Today, well, we're going to be talking about the battle that you lived through, Scott. It's good to see you.
Good to see you, Paul.
Some people might write a book about this and have interviewed people that have gone through this. In your case, your co-author is your wife, Charlene McMann Seaman, so she lived through it, but you're the guy that suffered it. Tell me about when you were first diagnosed, because you were a young, healthy guy. It was the last thing on your mind.
Exactly. I was in my mid-30s at the time. We were on our way to Disney World for a family vacation. I wasn't feeling quite right, and my wife said, well, you need to get a checkup, and instead of going to Walt Disney World, we wound up spending a year through surgery, chemotherapy, radiation. I had non-Hodgkin's lymphoma.
When it started, in fact, you thought it was heart trouble, right? I don't even know that there's symptoms for what you had. You thought it was something else.
Yes, I had a heaviness in my chest. I felt like I had about 20 pounds of weight on there, and some strange feeling indigestion for about 3 or 4 days. And so when I went in, they did an x-ray and they saw baseball-sized tumors in my chest.
Many people in your situation would never have made it through physically. You not only made it through, but I think part of what you write about in battling and beating cancer, the support that you got from your family. You have a daughter, your wife. Talk to me about how they got through this, because you're fighting the battle, but it's no easy trip for them.
It isn't, and of course I was able to be weak and say, from time to time, I'm not going to make it, or I'm worried, and they didn't. They were always strong, and of course had those feelings themselves and had to keep it from me, so in some ways it's rougher. But the other thing is I would not have made it without my wife, because while I'm strong in the courtroom, I'm a courtroom trial lawyer, when it comes to battling cancer, that's an adversary I never felt I could tackle. And I said, I don't want to go through the chemo. And my wife said, the cancer won't kill you, the chemotherapy won't kill you. I'll help you each step of the way, but if you don't do your treatments, I'm going to kill you.
And of course, you said when the hospital found out you were a lawyer, they wanted to kill you. But it's just a joke. But let me talk about, you've taken this, what clearly is a lemon, a very difficult time. You've survived it. I'm very happy that that's the case, but you've said, I'm now going to give back. So you've written this book with your wife. It chronicles your battle, but let's also talk about the proceeds of this and then some of the other resources in the book.
Sure. As a lawyer, the idea of helping other people never occurred to me, but Charlene said, we have to make sure other people don't go through what you went through.
Right, lawyers, we're kidding out there. We're just kidding. We're both lawyers.
Right. So. And so we've been involved. She co-founded the Chicago chapter of the Lymphoma Research Foundation. We started the Lymphomathon, and she works with patients all the time, and we felt that we needed to, at her urging, we needed to put something down to help people out, because when you hear the words, you've got cancer, your whole life changes, and you need to know where to turn, how to deal with it, and how to tilt those odds in your favor each step of the way. And so we wrote this book, and the proceeds will go to cancer research and education.
And which is beautiful. The first half of the book is your story. The second half of the book, the resources. So this is a resource not only for people who are battling cancer themselves, but also their family member. Talk about some of the resources we find.
Sure. And my wife wrote a whole chapter about caregiving and what caregivers need to do, not only for the patient they're supporting, but for themselves. But basically, we cover everything from how to select your doctor, how to select your hospital, your treatments, what are the tests, what are survival rates, how do you get on the surviving side of the statistics. We have a section where we go through, call it deposing your doctor, what questions you should ask your doctor at each stage of the process, a listing of resources, all of the charity organizations, the governmental organizations that are there that have up-to-the-date information on your type of cancer, treatments, clinical trials, financial and other forms of assistance, and then a patient's medical notebook, so that as you're going through this, you can track all the important medical information about your condition, and there's even a place in the book to ask your doctor's questions and write those questions down.
Yeah, it really is. It's everything from book to workbook. People can get the book at Amazon.com, of course, and around, but also your website. We'll post it, but go ahead and say it.
Yeah, it's charleneandscott.org, and people can not only get information on the book, but also if people have questions or need some tips or some advice, if they contact us, Charlene in particular is very good about getting back to people.
Thank you, Scott. Battling and Beating Cancer, the Cancer Survival Book. Scott Seaman, thanks for being with me. I'm Paul Lisnek. This has been Comcast Newsmakers. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.
The preceding was a presentation of Comcast Newsmakers. Now, back to headline news.